Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob. I guess at the start, I want to remind everyone what we talked about actually at the end of the last episode, that the weekly NFL Pick'em is live and it's back on. We're running it again through Poolhost, not to be confused with Albert Pujols, the Poolhost website. If you want in, it's $6 a week. There's no commitment, right? You can play however many weeks you want. You don't have to play every week. You can only play here and there. Or you can just pay $108 for the entire season and you're covered. And then you just have to remember to make your picks every week. So want to throw that out there again, right? We had, I logged back into Poolhost and I saw there were 26 active people. So throughout the season last year, we had 26 people that were in it at various times, right? Not every week had all 26. But like you said in the last episode, I think 25 was the highest we had in 1 week. So you're looking at, what is that? $250 if you win the week, right? 25 times $5. It's $125. Yeah, you cut that in half. That
yeah, not 250 at all.
Yeah, that 250, you're going to cut that number in half. Yeah, that's 125. I doubled the math.
Take 125, double it. Okay, now cut it in half. That's how much you get.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's Common Core math there. That's new math. Yeah, take that number, times it by 2, now divide it by 2. All right, that's your answer. Good.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, you could win yourself $125 if you win. We get all 25, and then also the more people you tell, it's open to the public, right? All you need is the link to sign up. Which do you have that link? Do I have the ability to share the link? I can probably search my old texts and find it, but because I tried to share it to Neil and Eric. Shout out to Eric, friend of the show.
Weren't they both in it last year?
Yeah, but I just sent them like the website, like poolhost.com, and then they just logged in themselves. Yeah, right. But like if someone knew,
find it.
No, they did. Okay. But like if someone new wants to join, I just don't know like the new joiner link versus like, hey, go to www.poolhost.com. So yeah, it's $6 a week, right? $5 goes to the weekly pool, $1 goes to the season long. So obviously there are 2 different kinds of payouts, right? Someone wins every week. However many people are entered that week, that's the prize money you get. And then for the season long, whoever has the best record at the end of the season, they win the season long pool. So last year, I think I won 2 weeks or 3. I don't really remember. I know I won at least 2 weeks. And then I also won the season long. So I made out like a bandit, as the saying goes. So we'll see if I can keep that up this year. But again, it is up. It's live. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, wherever you are, you can join. So just let us know, right? Get in touch with us, whether it's in the YouTube comments underneath or, Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, Twitter or Sarcasm_Speaks. Those are probably the 2 best ways. That's what we monitor the most. Let us know and we will get you the information to get signed up, right? We'll get you the link, like the new sign up link. We'll get you the password. We'll also tell you like the Venmo name to send the money to and things like that. So, we'll get you all of that information as needed. So should be another good year. We'll see if we can get even more people. So Neil already paid me. He just sent me a Venmo for the season. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll just flip it over to Bob. So
I think he paid me directly last year.
Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh yeah. Who knows?
What's the thing too? I'm like, because I'll send more reminders as we get closer. Because obviously I sent the first one, but it's like a lot of these people email or Venmo me, like not all the time, but like they have emailed or Venmoed me in the past. Like someone's gonna ask. It's like Spencer with the link.
Oh yeah. Hey, just send me the link.
Yeah, and it's like bro, I'm not that. Yep. I'll just send it along because.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you've sent me a Venmo before, and then it's like instantly in their brain shuts off. Like, okay, well, clearly they don't want that money that badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it goes with anything.
Yeah. So, that's the other thing. The picks are against the spread, right? And it is Sunday games only, right? Monday. We
Sunday,
include
Monday.
Monday night as also
No,
Monday
the Monday
also.
night. So the Monday night, it's Sunday and Monday.
Yep.
Um, couple of those odd weeks. I want to say more games are included. Like I
There's
want to
a
say
Saturday
Thanksgiving,
games. Yeah.
and I want to say Thanksgiving games for some reason get lumped in.
Okay.
Um, I could be making that up. I don't really remember. Yeah.
But
So
yeah, later in the season,
it's Sunday, Monday, and then if there
we do
are any
have
Saturday
Saturdays.
games,
Yeah. Once the
it could
college
be
football wraps up.
yeah. I try to like keep track of all that shit and like keep track of the London games and Germany games and whatever the fuck.
Right. Right.
Um, so I mean, like I try to do my best to remind everybody, but I can only do so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm only one man.
Yeah. So we got that. I'll start reminding people, but this is it. I mean, this is gonna be, I would imagine, Thursday's episode. Because yesterday's episode that we already did came out today. It's Monday. Today's Monday. If people are in like the time machine trying to figure out where things are. So when this episode comes out, it will be week 1, right? The week 1 starts tonight. It'll be game day for Detroit and Kansas City.
You're shitting me.
Yeah, I already took the over 54.
That's the opening game.
Yeah. Yep.
Why?
Why?
Because everyone loves Dan Campbell the way everyone loves Ed O. Like, is that what's happening?
That's a great question. Because let me see if I can just pull
the
up
Lions fucking suck.
The Kansas City Chiefs schedule just to see what teams they're playing.
Any team.
I
don't give a fuck who.
Yeah, they're playing the Eagles this year. You could rematch the Super Bowl in week 1.
Well, they're probably saving that for like
it's November 20th. That's probably a Monday night, if I had to guess.
No, they're probably saving it for
it is
Sunday. It's a Monday night game.
Monday night game is the Eagles at the Chiefs.
I was gonna say that stank of Fox at 4:25.
Yeah, but they're playing the Bengals. So they're playing the Bengals on New Year's Eve.
That would have been a good opener.
They're playing the Bills on December 10th, which is a Sunday, which I would imagine. No, it's at 4:25. So they're playing the Bills at Sunday at 4:30 on December 10th. They're playing the Eagles on Monday night, the November 20th. I mean, other than that, they kind of have some shitty opponents this year. Yeah, they're playing the NFC North, so like Lions, Bears, Vikings, Packers.
I forget. I want to say the Sunday at 4:25 is that the most popular? It's not Monday night.
Yeah, it could be the 4:25.
I forget if it's more popular than Sunday Night Football. I just can't remember.
But like the Lions,
stupid.
Yeah. So I guess technically, if you want to whittle it down even more, it would have to also be a home game for the Chiefs, right? Because they do typically open with the Super Bowl champions at home. So that would take nope, the Bills actually are still in the equation. Wow. So at home this year, the Chiefs are playing the Bengals, the Bills, the Eagles, even the Chargers. And they chose to open up the season with the Lions.
They never use divisional games.
I know they typically don't do week 1 divisional games, but
no, there's a lot of week 1 divisional games, not the Thursday night opener.
Oh, right.
Divisional games.
Because it's like it would take Green Bay out of the equation because they're at Green Bay. They're at New England, which I understand that New England isn't good, right? We're Pats fans, but it's the draw. It's the market share, right? Like Pats fans are a big draw. It's like Dallas and New England are the 2 most popular teams in the country. But that wouldn't work anyway because we're home. We're at New England,
Yeah.
right? So you can take
It
them off.
also it also doesn't the draw is less important for week one opener because everyone's gonna watch that game.
Right. Right.
In Detroit, for lack of organizational success, they do have a fan base. So
Fair.
it's not like they're playing the Texans.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It just seems like a big swing and a miss to me to give it to the Lions when you
Yeah, I
have
don't get that one.
Eagles, Bills, and Bengals are all choices that you could have opened up the season.
You know, and it's like I'm trying to think like if I was scheduling Czar or like NFL TV broadcast coordinate with scheduling czar. The more I think about it, I actually guess it makes sense to throw a fucking kind of a stinker out there week one because like I said, you don't have to
Everyone's
work
gonna
for,
listen. Yeah. Or
but
watch.
week two Thursday, or I guess that's not even fair, but like, yeah, then like the Sunday night football matchups, you probably want those to be a little bit stronger because people will watch them if they're good games, and then if they're shitty games, I don't know if people watch. And then Monday night always sucks, but it's the only game on, so everyone watches it.
I'm curious to see if there's a way that I can pull up NFL Thursday night schedule, like only the Thursday night games,
Well, I
because those
think
are all going to be on Amazon this year.
And I also think they may have introduced the flex for those games
for Thursday nights,
which
could get interesting.
Well, I think that's going to be like a break glass in case of emergency.
Wow. Okay. So out of the gate,
they're awful.
No, they're not.
What? Why? They're usually terrible. Every single year, they're awful.
Week one, we know, right? So I wonder if this has something to do with the deal with Amazon. Like, I wonder if Amazon stepped in and was like, if we're going to give
us Jags and Titans,
if you're going to give us if we're going to give you all of this fucking money for a deal, you're not going to give us Jags and Titans and fucking, Giants, Bears, right? So
Jags Titans was like a Thursday night staple for like 3 straight years.
So week one, we know the matchup, right? Week two is Vikings at Eagles. That's a good matchup. That's a good game. Minnesota at Philly.
We'll see how good Minnesota is.
Yeah, I mean, their offense is good. Their defense is trash, but like it'll be a good game. I would rather watch Minnesota Philly than Houston Jacksonville. So then week three, you have the Giants at San Francisco. That I think is going to be a good game, right? Two teams that like should be pretty decent. San Francisco obviously always has injuries. The Giants played very well last year. They dealt with their own injuries, right? But like
every single year, all of their receivers.
Brian Dable seems like he might be a pretty legit coach. Like that's a good game. Like I'm setting the bar as a typical Thursday night football game here, right? I'm not saying like, is this a great football game to watch? It's as far as Thursday night football goes. Then in week 4, you have Detroit at Green Bay. That's another good game. Like they're division rivals. Like both teams, Green Bay's on the come down, Detroit's on the come up. Could Jordan Love be good? Maybe. We don't know, right? Like we'll see. Like that's a decent Thursday night game. Then week 5, we get the goofy traditional Thursday night game, Chicago at Washington. So it takes until week 5. It takes until week 5 to get a shitty game. Like I would say that's a shitty game.
Week 4, I'm not as high on week 4 as you are.
But I wouldn't say it's shitty.
We don't know that yet.
I mean, I guess we'll see, right? Anything can happen.
Because it really because we don't know what the Packers are.
Yeah.
And we don't know what Jordan Love is. I think people are fairly comfortable with what the Lions are, and I don't know if I agree, and that's fine. Like you don't have to agree with me. I'm not a fucking football analyst. I'm not nearly as high as a lot of people are. Again, like last year was like fun, but at times it's like they had the worst defense in the league and the best offense in the league. It's like that shit doesn't work.
Overs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, unless you want the over. But then they adjust and figure it out, whatever.
So then it does get it gets better too, right? So week 6, you have Denver at Kansas City. It's a good game.
I got
Again,
no
that's one of
use for the
those.
Denver fucking
I know
Broncos.
it's one of those like Russell Wilson might actually be cooked by then. It could be
Well,
Jarrett Stidham by week 6,
if
but
Sean Payton can turn that team around, then you have something.
right.
But
It's an
if it's
if.
last year's Broncos, I got no use for that.
Right. So week 7 is the Jaguars at the Saints. Solid game,
Ew.
right? Like
No,
it's
the
not
Saints
like
fuck the Derek Carr Saints. Fuck that.
I think the Saints are going to win the division.
That's not saying all that much.
I know, but they're still probably the best team in the division.
It again, that doesn't say that much.
It's like being what is it, the smartest kid in the sped class or something.
Pretty much.
Like,
It's almost like by default.
yeah.
Because they act so, and that's the thing is like I think Derek Carr sucks, but at least he is an NFL quarterback.
Right. I mean, yeah, Derek Carr, Trevor Lawrence, solid, right? Yeah, Chris Olave, who could end up being a stud. We'll see what Calvin Ridley does when he comes back. He hasn't played in 2 years. Who knows? Week 8 is Tampa Bay at Buffalo. That's going to be a fucking bloodbath. Buffalo might be like a 20-point favorite in that game, and that's probably not enough. Week 9 is Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Doesn't really do a ton for me. We got a tough stretch from week 8 through week 10, because then week 10 is Carolina at Chicago.
How does Chicago get 2 fucking Thursday games?
Because they don't want to give them Sunday night games.
That's
it's their way
true.
of giving them a primetime game without putting them on Sunday or Monday. Then week 11, we get Cincinnati at Baltimore. That could potentially be the best Thursday night game of the year.
Game of the year.
So that's week 11. Week 12 then is Miami at the Jets. That's another great game. So we got back-to-back great games there for Thursday nights from week 11 and week 12. And then week 13 is Seattle at Dallas. Oh, that's fine.
Seattle's another team we'll fucking see.
Yeah.
I'm well aware what they did last year, and that's
a fine game, right? Like I would watch that. Like I'm probably not going to tune in to Carolina, Chicago on a Thursday night, but I would watch Seattle, Dallas, right? Like I think that's fair. Like it's not great, but it's not a dog shit game. Then week 14, we have New England at Pittsburgh. That's fucking whatever. Fuck them. Fuck this team. And then we get the Chargers at Vegas. That's a good game. So Chargers, Raiders. Then we close it out in week 16 and 17 with New Orleans at the Rams, which, I mean, by that time, who the fuck knows?
We will fucking see. Like, that's another one.
Who knows? Who knows what those two teams will be by week 16? And then week 17, the last one, is the Jets at Cleveland. There's your classic Thursday night football matchup. I feel like the Jets and the Browns have played every Thursday night since Thursday night football has existed. Because they did I think they did a color rush game once. It was like the all greens versus the all browns. And everyone was like, oh, look at this literal shit colored game. So, I mean, all things considered, I don't think that's an awful lineup, right? There's some duds, right? There's some stinkers, but there's a lot of really good games that I don't think we would have had. I don't think in the past I've been able to look at the Thursday night football lineup and go, wow, those are some good games. Be like, yep, this is shit. That sucks. This game might be okay. I probably won't watch this one. That's trash. This sucks. That blows, right? Like this year, we actually have some good games. They still fucking dropped the ball with the opening with the Lions at the Chiefs, though. That's fucking stupid. So, yeah, we'll see. All right. So I got since this is coming out Thursday and I want to bring this up before we get, a little out of date here. Um, but I think a lot of schools, well, I think especially around here, maybe a lot of schools started going back last week, which is kind of weird. It's like a more recent, it's like a COVID thing, like a post-COVID thing. They
I
go
want to
back for like
say
2 days.
I want
They
to
go
say like the
back,
last 5 years.
yeah, they go back to school Wednesday, Thursday before Labor Day, and then they have Friday off, and then the Monday off of Labor Day. So it's like they go back for 2 days, they have a 4 day break, and then they go back to school like legitimately on the Tuesday after Labor Day. But um because we love teachers right here on this show and
The
they're the
real
real
heroes.
heroes. Yeah. Um I thought it was absolutely hilarious that because I don't know, I use the word friends loosely. I do have some actual friends, yes, that are teachers, right? But I follow a lot of people on Instagram, right? I'm connected on social media with a lot of people that are teachers. And for the last week, all I've been seeing was, ugh, I have to go back to school. To be fair, right? Or granted, don't combine those. Use either one. Um, some of the posts were like positive, right? Like, oh, I'm excited for my new class, or like pictures of their fucking classroom of all the girls that fucking decorate their class for the new year and all that shit. But like most of the posts that I saw over the last week of people that are teachers are like, oh, another summer gone, or farewell summer, or oh, it's back to work. Oh, I don't want to go back to work. Don't make me do it. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like all of this, like, woe is me. Like I have to go back to work type of thing. And it's like, are you are you shitting me?
No one's gonna feel bad for you because everyone works generally year round.
Everyone works all fucking year round. Exactly. Like we normal people don't get 3 months off for free in the middle of the year, right? Like there's no like you have to file for like a sabbatical or like take a leave of absence or none of that. Like, no, you just get 3 months off. Well, I guess again, to be fair, it's more like 2.5. So no one just gets 2.5 months off for free in the middle
Well,
of the year.
the other thing is if you generally work 5 days a week, I understand like vacation time, blah blah blah. That's 260 days a year. School is 180 days a year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
180 days.
Yeah. So even if you don't work, even if you do work normal Monday through Friday job, that's still
80.
20, 80 more days.
Yep.
And I would imagine most places probably don't give you 80 days of PTO that you can use throughout the year because
Unlikely.
that would be how many weeks is that? 80 days, 80 divided by
More
5.
than
That's
15.
16. That's 16 weeks of vacation. I am certain that nobody anywhere in the entire world, not even in your beloved fucking Scandinavia, do they get 16 weeks of vacation time.
And that does include no weekends.
Correct. Correct. And that's what you would need to equal what a teacher works. But yeah, it's really hard for them to go back to school. Oh, so long summer. Oh, what a great summer. I really wish I made more money. Maybe you should get a job that
Maybe you should
works
work 260
260
days.
days out of the year. Like, I don't know. Which the other thing too on that is, and I know like we are a little bit different in the Northeast. Like we typically pay our teachers a little bit more than the rest of the country, but like there's a lot of teachers in Massachusetts that make over $80,000 a year. Like a lot, not just like, oh, you have to work. And it's not one of those things where like, oh, you have to work there for 25 years to make, nope, doesn't take that long. Takes maybe 10 years, 10 to 12 years in some districts to hit 6 figures. So if you worked in one district for, let's use the bigger number, for 12 years, and you make $100,000 a year, and you only have to work 180 days a year.
That's why teachers that have been working for 12-ish years, because that's about our graduating class. They're more like 10, 11,
Mhm.
or my graduating class, because you're 2 years behind me. But a lot of people in my graduating class, they're like 10, 11 years of teaching if they got a job right away and whatever. So I mean, they're probably, I would say that like there's a lucky few that are probably entering year 12 or 13.
Mhm.
No, probably entering year 12. Not everyone that's the case. Like some people are more like going to be more like 8 or 9 or whatever. And some people get the bullshit of like they get laid off every year just to get rehired, so they can't get tenure, the whole fucking thing. And I
Yeah.
will say, like, as much as I shit on teachers, that shit is a fucking racket. That is absolute fucking bullshit. But
Yeah.
um whatever. You ain't fixing that one. That's
Yeah.
fucking for damn sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That or everyone's gonna take a pay cut. It's
Right.
whatever.
Right.
If everyone gets tenure, then everyone gets paid less. That's how that'll work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, so like people, my graduating year, they're like entering that. So if they were lucky enough to start right away, by the time they're 33, they could be looking at 85 a year,
Right. To work
which
180 days,
I'm never gonna like.
which is a great fucking deal, right? Like that's
Yeah,
pretty solid. I mean, shout out to Wilson, who was our high school anatomy teacher. Um, and at one point, I went back. This is when I was working at my last job, and I was mentoring a kid that went to Medford High. So I was talking to him at that point, and this was, I don't know, this was maybe like 5 years ago. Um, and I was talking to him like just on the side casually. And it's funny, like talking to him as an adult who's someone who's no longer a student. He's absolutely fucking hilarious. But he was like, yeah, he goes, I forget how long he said he'd been there. At that point, it might have been 10 years or 12 years or something
probably
like
longer
that.
than that.
He goes, I've been here for, X amount of years. He goes, I make over $100,000 a year. He goes, why wouldn't you want to work this job? He goes, I don't have to work summers. He goes, this is amazing. This is the
So
best. He goes, this is the best job ever. And I know
I
it's Wilson, right? So like his mannerisms and like his thought processes and things
yeah,
like that. But like it's
I
and
remember
it
the point I was trying to make. By
yeah,
the time you get to like year 15, you stop caring about, oh, summer's over.
yeah,
Because by then, not only are you a little bit more mature, you're probably making a little bit more money. You probably have some level of stability that like the younger teachers don't have.
yep,
And also you're not an insufferable prick or usually by then. It's like, because it's all the new teachers and it's like, oh, summer's over. It's like, well, you just hate where you are because you're either
yeah.
still
Or
grinding your
you're
way up
24
or
years old and you want to go
yeah,
to the
just
bar
immature.
every
That's
night
just it. Yeah,
still,
that's
right?
just
And you're like, oh, I
immaturity.
can't believe I can't go out and sit at the beach every day and just drink
Yeah.
high noons all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to go to fucking work. You got to get a
Yep.
job.
Just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you don't see like teachers in their late 30s being like, oh, can't believe I have to go back to school. Well, it's been that way.
Actually,
It's been that way for the last 16 years.
you almost see the opposite because typically, like teachers that are in their late 30s, like if they have kids, they're like, get these
Send them the
fucking
fuck
kids
back.
back to school. Let's go. It's time to go back to
Send
school.
them fucking back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like, again, it's like, so teachers who have been doing that a long time, they get the gist, they get the routine, they understand the deal. Like, listen, this is when summer fucking starts. This is what we realistically can do. This is what we realistically can afford. These are like the things that I would like to do in the
Right.
summer. Let's do them because come September, it's back to reality. But for younger teachers, and again, like the little bit of credit I will slide to younger teachers, one, they're not smart enough or mature enough yet to figure this part out. But like, yeah, again, so it's like they don't have tenure or they get jerked around at work or because they're a young person on the totem pole, they get fucked over a little bit. Like
Right.
that shit is annoying. But at the same time, if you just fucking grind it out, they're like like if you're 28, like you are so fucking young in this game.
Yeah.
Like if you grind it out, when things actually matter, when you're actually making real money and you actually are like have some stability, then you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you're young, you can enjoy yourself because you can bounce back quick and you're fucking young. Like, doesn't matter. Like, just play the game at the right stage, and it's actually really not that bad.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. And I've seen this before. Like I've seen people post on social media about the decades, like the focus of the decades or whatever. And it's like in your 20s, it's to I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm gonna make it all up kind of in a way, but it's out there. Some people might have seen it or heard it. But it's like your 20s are all about like exploring and like having fun. And then your 30s are all about your career. And then your 40s are about accumulating wealth. And then your 50s are about like finally achieving financial freedom. And then your 60s on, I forget what they all are. But it was like basically that breakdown. And I was like, when you read that when you're 27, you're like, yeah, fuck that. I can do whatever I want. Like now, whatever. It's like, but now that you get a little bit older and you go back and you look and you're like, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Like your 20s.
You also know what my first immediate thought on that is. You can absolutely, and I know, okay, so I get it. It's a like teaching thing. Like, oh,
Right.
like look at this. This is a neat little thing I put together. But I actually think you can move some of those around, because if you can fucking just figure out how to focus on your career in your 20s, then in your 30s, you get to explore and have fun, but you get to do it in a way that you weren't able to do in your 20s.
Right.
So like right now, it's like, so like for me, I went to Pebble Beach in June. There is a 0.00% chance that I could have done that. I don't know, maybe prior to this year, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I could have done it, but like
You figure it out.
like I could have figured it out, but like to do it in an intelligent way, yeah, it's 33, but it's again, it's like, since I've been 25, I've had the gym myself. So it's like that's 8 years of figuring it the fuck out.
Right.
And then it's like, we're talking about our honeymoon next year and we're talking about Italy.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, if I got married at fucking 25, I would not be going to Italy when I was 25.
Right.
0.00% chance of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it would be on budget, like sleeping in a fucking bus or some shit. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, that was totally worth it. But that's the thing is like because then and the reason I don't like that is because if you're talking to a 22, 23-year-old and you tell them something like, oh, well, in your 20s, you get to fuck off. And then in your 30s, you focus on your career. And then in your 40s, what was that? You start to accumulate wealth.
Yeah. Wealth accumulation. Yeah.
Whereas if we take those same topics and you just do a little bit of each,
right,
you actually can do it in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and your 50s. And as you get older, the fun will shift.
It's like a pie chart, right? Like the pieces of the pie change shape.
Well, I was even going to say, like, what the fun is what changes.
Right.
Because you may think going into Boston's fun, but then hopefully by the time you're like 27, you realize Boston's not fun. It's actually a pain in the ass in most things about it, unless you live there. If you live there, then it's great.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, your rent bill sucks, but like,
or your mortgage.
But like going out in Boston when you're like, if you live there, yeah, it's really not bad. Like it wouldn't be like, that's the biggest thing. That's my biggest fucking hang up with Boston right now is fucking getting in and out.
Yeah, that's why I never go. I mean, I go
there's
for
some
work
other
all
shitty
the time,
things, but like I wouldn't go to places with covers and dress codes, whatever the fuck. Like fuck that. Like
absolutely not.
Yeah, no way.
Especially now, like we're in our 30s. You're gonna tell me there's a dress code? Hey, fucking blow me.
I didn't fucking give a shit about that stuff when I was 26 and never going.
Yeah.
I'd go like once in every fucking 4 months, once every 4 to 6 months, and I'm like, if there's a dress code, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. Not even once. I couldn't even be bothered. No fucking way. But if you tell someone who's 22, 23, it's like, oh, fuck off in your 20s. It's like, okay, deal, sign me up.
Yeah.
And then it's like they turn 30 and now it's time to figure it out, and it's like might be too late.
Yeah.
So, but then that's the thing is like you can have some fun in your 20s, and then when you turn 30, then maybe your fun is more travel based,
Right.
And then late 30s, you take a couple trips, and maybe that's international based travel. Like that's how it all shifts and changes. And
Right.
or you
It's
might have kids
different
by your late 30s, and then in which case it's like
focus.
you and the kids are doing things. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, you can like look at me for example too. Like through my 20s, I just used to take trips all the time. Like I went to San Diego, I went to Denver, went to Houston, where else? Jacksonville, Charleston. We went to
Yeah.
Savannah.
And
Well, so
especially
that was
because
a little bit later.
your idea was I have the ability to take the spring break from the 2 jobs.
Right.
So I'm going to go do a trip
Yeah.
because in 4 days from when we record this,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do any of that shit.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
get it in while you can. And it's like, it doesn't have to be a bummer that it's like, oh, I wish I could do that shit again. It's like,
Yeah. It's
you
like
are never going, but yeah, but
I've
you
done
know
it.
what? You're no, yeah. And guess what? You're never going to Nashville by yourself. Actually, you're never taking a trip by yourself again. Now,
Yeah.
you
No,
did it a
that's
couple
true.
times because of where you were at your time,
Right.
but now you're never, whether it's guys trip, whether it's guys golf trip, whether you, Amy go, whether you, Amy, the kids go, like what
Right.
kids,
Yeah.
I get ahead of myself. Because we definitely know it's not twins, right?
Yeah. 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 We're at the point we know it's not twins.
Okay. So
To Amy's chagrin, she was hoping for twins so we could get it done at 2 at once, 2 for 1 deal.
I will say it brings on some headaches, but get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is like you're never gonna go on a trip by yourself again. So it's like a
Right.
lot of people would be like, that's kind of weird. Like you flew all the way to San Diego by yourself. It's like, yeah, and actually, you know what? If you really think about it, it's actually pretty cool. And you did it.
Yeah.
And it's like, me, I have no real motivation to take a trip like that by myself. I would take a golf trip by myself, but like if I really want to go to Pinehurst and I can't find anyone to go, I would consider booking that shit
Yeah.
myself. But
Well, I would always be down for Pinehurst as long as it's not within the
well,
next like 2
yeah,
months, right?
this
Because
is what
I'm
no.
not going anywhere in the next 2
Yeah, but
months.
again, remember, there's gonna be a time where you're not gonna have the flexibility to do that
Right.
shit, and that's
Right.
fine. It is what it is. Like, but yeah, you can look back and say, I've done all that shit. And it's like, and the good part is, it's like, it did it good, fun, no problem, enjoyed it, not doing it again.
Right.
Like, why the fuck would you ever why would you go to Nashville by choice ever again?
I wouldn't. The answer
You've been
is I
there
wouldn't.
3 times now, right?
3 times.
Pat's play there next year, I think.
Yeah, for a cumulative, probably like 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I think we did 3 days, 2 days, and you
Because
were there for a week.
the first time I went for a week.
2 business weeks.
Yeah.
I think the Pats play there next year. But yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is like I'm not going to Nashville.
Yeah.
Outside of an
event, right? Like I need to have a reason to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna be like, oh, you know what? I really want to go to Nashville.
No.
Because at one point I did. That was in 2016, 2017, whenever it was. I was like, I want to go.
We
to
went
Nashville,
for the game
so
in 18, so I think you went the year before.
Yeah. So that's why, I went 2017. I was like, yeah, I really want to go to Nashville. So I did. And then the following year, I was like, I really want to go to San Diego. So I did. The year after that, I was like, I really want to go to Charleston. So I did.
Yep.
And then the year after that, we went to Savannah. And it was like, cool. Like, it's just one of those things where, and then scattered in there, I was in Chicago and Denver and, like I said, Jacksonville, Houston. So, like, I've been all over. Like, I've seen a lot of different places. It's really cool. But, like, as it stands right now, do I have like desire? All right, as I'm about to say that, do I have desire to go other places? Yes, obviously I do. Like I would really like to go to Arizona at some point. I actually enjoyed Texas. As weird as a city as Houston is, there's way more to Texas than Houston and Austin, right? Like I've been to Austin, was cool. We went for Bill's bachelor party. Austin was really cool. I would love to go back to Austin. But like Texas is so fucking big. There's so much other shit there. We've been to obviously New Orleans. At this point, like, am I ever going to pack up and be like, oh, I'm going to New Orleans? Like, no, unless I have a reason to go there.
Oh,
right?
I am.
Like,
I don't know when, but
But
that's my.
it's
But then
like,
again, that's my spot.
right, right. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I've been around, I've seen some places. I would like to still go see some other places, but like, if I never make it to fucking, I don't know, I'm trying to think of somewhere that I kind of want to go. Like, if I never make it to Oregon and never play Bandon Dunes, like, am I going to think my life is a failure? No, like, it's fine.
They need to build a fucking airport out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's like I would actually, it's funny too, because the things change as you get older, right? Because in my 20s, like all the places I went, San Diego, Charleston, Nashville, Denver, Chicago, all major cities, all like a lot of shit to do, like young, right? College areas, hanging out. And like now you ask me where I want to go, is like I want to go to like Arizona, like wherever, like whether it's not really Phoenix, but like whether it's like Flagstaff or like whatever, where all the old people are, basically. Cause like that's where the golf is. There's golf, there's good weather. And where else do I want to go? I would fucking love to go to Montana and Idaho. The northern Idaho looks absolutely fucking beautiful. I've heard amazing things about it. I just want to go and like enjoy being away from people and being in like nature, right? Like those are the places I want to go now, right? Like I said, the top three places that I haven't been yet that I really want to go would probably be Montana, Idaho, and Arizona, right? Like, yes, I would go if someone was like, hey, do you want to go to, like, if you were like, hey, you want to go to Pinehurst? Yeah, fucking absolutely. I want to go to North
Yeah, we
Carolina.
got to remember though, Pinehurst is a golf trip. Like that has a
Right,
very
right. Yeah.
specific
Or if
agenda.
someone was like, hey, do you want to go to the Outer Banks? Right. We'll do a vacation in the Outer Banks. Yeah, absolutely. I'll go to the Outer Banks. Like, but just because it's not on my top three places that I haven't been that I want to go doesn't mean I don't want to go there. But like it's those type of places now that I'm interested in, is like I said, like the northern Arizona, the Montanas, and the Idahos.
My only issue, like personality wise, is I just have like super bad ADD. Not like again, I don't have like ADD, like attention deficit disorder, but like when I need shit to do, and I
Yeah.
am not a fucking like I'm not hiking. Like don't drop me off in Montana and be like, we can go hiking or we can go whitewater rafting or we could do any. I'm like I am not that those things are not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now,
Right.
what
They
I
don't have
can
to
do
be.
now, so say it's like, oh well, we can do like a 3 mile hike or a 5 mile hike. Is that a lot? I don't know. Is like a
Um,
5 mile hike a lot?
it depends on the terrain, but a 5 mile
Call
hike is
it
is pretty
middle of the
fucking
ground, like not
solid.
not the highest and not the flattest. Is five
Yeah.
miles like
Five,
is that like a
that's
thing?
yeah,
Like would
that's
people
that's
call
gonna
that a
take you a
daily?
while.
Would that be an activity for the day?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. If you said you want to go on a 5 mile hike through God knows what, no interest whatsoever. Do you want to walk the equivalent of 5 miles around a city where like either there's shit to look at or there's shit to go or like whatever? Yes, sign me the fuck up. Because it's not like it's not the activity. It's I always have I'm always wired, and I've noticed this with other stuff too. I'm always wired to like complete the activity, right?
Mhm.
But like there is no completing a hike. Like you can't rush the hike. It takes as long as it takes.
Right.
Like so like I would be on the hike and I'd be like, okay, we're here, we made it. Let's get this fucking thing over with. And it's like that is so fucking not the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why like for like specifically for me, the idea of going to a tropical island in like say like 5 days on like Aruba or something, I'd be like, I would need to golf 2 or 3 like every other day because the idea of sitting
Yeah.
on a beach and not doing anything makes my fucking skin crawl.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Oh,
just
like
need
what would
some
what the,
sort of stimulation.
something needs
Right.
to keep me busy. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Like I can go to the beach and leave and come back and leave and go here and go there. Like
Right.
that's the problem with me, which would which I mean, again, I can golf anywhere. So it's like if we're talking about a non-golf trip, some places are going to be a tough destination for me. And then it's even worse with the person I'm with. Because like if it's Michaela and I, and she's like, "Hey, let's just hang at the beach," I'd be like, "Okay." And then I'd be like ready to go at 8 a.m. I'd be like, "All right,
Like
let's go."
fucking like chewing on a piece of leather.
No, like seriously, I would probably wake up and then at 8 a.m. I'd be like, "Okay, let's go." It's like, well, what's the rush? Well, we're going to the beach. Let's go.
Yeah.
She's like, we're in no hurry. We are in a different country and we have nothing to do today. It's like, yeah, but we're going to the beach, so let's go. Like, what are we waiting
Yeah.
for?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, you said we're going, let's go. And then we're there, and it's like, hopefully I fucking fall asleep. Because if not, then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go walk down there. Then I come back. What'd you find? Nothing. It's like a fucking puppy. Like, oh, I think I smell something over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sniff this place.
What'd you find? Nothing. Like, all right, I went down that way. I'll go in the water. I kind of got to piss. I'll go back in the water. Like, oh, I'll go dry off. And then once I dry off, it's like, I'm dry. I guess I'll go back in the water again. Like,
yeah, I'm starting to sweat. I'm hot.
and then like doing that for 4 or 5 days in a row, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna be a rough go. Which is why, I mean, I think we were on the same page right away with Italy for the honeymoon. I'm like, that's actually going to be perfect because it's going to be like, go here, go there, go here, go there. I'd be like, the world's biggest fucking tourist. Because what everyone says too with Rome is like, Rome's great to go once.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, understood. You don't even need to say anymore. But I'm like, I have to at least go and fucking be a tourist once.
Yeah.
And then after that, we can go to the
to
south and drive the fucking coast and fucking whatever the fuck.
And go to Tuscany and fucking drink the wine.
Which we might do. I think we may do that. We got to talk to a fucking travel agent because it's like everything sounds like a great idea, but I don't know what the hell is actually realistic or possible.
Yeah. Do you have AAA?
I do. I was gonna kind of seek out someone who specializes in trips to Italy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was gonna say I think AAA has free consulting for travel agents.
Yeah, I also think with travel agents too, it's like provided you actually sign up through them, that's how they get paid. Kind of like financial advisors, like they just kind of like you give them the money and they just figure out how to pay themselves.
Yeah.
Same thing with like a travel agent. Like,
it's like this trip costs $3,000. You give me $4,000 and I'll make it all happen.
I would actually even say too, it's like the trip for this is $3,800. It's like, okay, cool. What do we owe you? Don't worry about it. Say no more.
Yep.
Done.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be fun. How you guys are gonna do what, 10 days?
I don't know. We still have to actually plan it.
We got to book. Oh, we did actually. Never mind. I was going to say I'm thinking out loud and then realized that I already did it. I was going to say we got to book the house for the wedding, but we already did that. We did that like last week. We're actually going down for a full week.
That seems to be what a ton of people are doing.
Yeah, so we have it from Thursday, so like the day before the wedding until the following Friday. So I think we'll be down obviously Thursday night for whatever, rehearsal thing, welcome party, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. The rehearsal we won't find out info about until like way closer to the event, because it's one of those, like, there's a rehearsal if the space is available, and if the space is booked, then there is no rehearsal.
Right.
So
yeah, so
yeah,
there, whatever,
the welcome
Thursday, Friday, and then I think Amy's mom is probably going to bring the baby down like Saturday, and then we'll have the rest of the week through Friday to just kind of like hang out.
Yeah, that's a lot, because she obviously has a lot of family from elsewhere in the country.
Right.
So yeah, like I think her uncle was like, yeah, I might just stay a month because I haven't been back there in a million years.
No big deal.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'll just stay for a month. It's fine.
Well, I mean, so again, he's from here. He hasn't lived here in probably fucking close to 50 years.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been back recently at all. Yeah, I might just stay a month. Why not?
I like it. Um. Ah, shit. You want to wrap this up? I
We can
feel like
wrap
that was
this
a
up.
fast. That was a fast hour.
Um, so I made some discretionary purchases relating to my golf game the other day.
All right.
So
I like it.
anyone who does play might know what the hell I'm talking about. So I'll try to do this in layman's terms and in nerd terms. So I was looking for a 52-degree wedge because I had a weird gapping with my shots. So I'm like, I want 52. I go, if I go 52, I'll need a 58, but like cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, like it's kind of weird. Like I've never really been able to hit like full wedges like all that good. Like it just kind of like something just ain't right there. So I was like looking around, poking around, not doing anything at work one day. So I'm like, I'm gonna pull the trigger on a 52 and kind of like work on this. And I don't know what made me think of it, but Cleveland makes cavity back wedges.
Yeah. The
So
CBX.
yep, CBX. And then in my searching, I actually found one on Golf Galaxy, and it was $100. They're normally like 150. It was an older model, but whatever. Again, like I don't.
Yeah.
Again, it's like if this thing doesn't accomplish the gap I need, then I'm gonna sell the fucking thing anyway.
Yeah.
So I get that. Um, it comes in, and again, I still got my 54 and 60. I can't have three. It can't be 52, 54, 60. It can't. It's got to be 5460 or 5258, or it can only be two wedges because I don't have enough. I'm out of space in my bag. So I get the 52, and I'm thinking like this thing's gonna be kind of clunky, but I'm mostly using it for full swings, so that's why I want it. Like it needs to go 100 yards, like it has to, like because the 54 doesn't quite go 100. Um, next club up's 115. If this doesn't go 100 yards, it's fucking useless to me. Like it is, it serves no fucking purpose. So I'm like chipping around with it. I'm hitting it on the range. Everything's fine. Everything's good. And I'm like, this thing actually isn't as clunky as I thought. I'm like, this thing actually is pretty good. So, that was a Thursday. Then Friday I went out and played, and I stuck myself in between two foursomes I was behind a foursome and in front of a threesome. And one of the dudes asked me, he goes, "Do you want to just play with us?" I go, listen, if it gets bad out there, I go, I'll fall back to you. I go, but I do have like I got a new wedge and my tee shot sucks, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna hit like a bunch of shots out there. And he goes, you sure? I'm like, yes. I go, I need to like do this, and I can't do that if I'm in a group.
Right.
Like I can't play my normal ball, or I can't hit two off the tee, play my normal ball, because usually it's like what I do is I designate a ball, that's my ball. Like I am playing that for score.
Right.
So I hit that first, then I hit the second, pick up the second, and then when I'm testing stuff, I go to wherever I need to go. So
Right.
in this case, I was going to 100, and I was hitting the 54, I was hitting the 52, and I'm like, this is like after a few shots, I go, this is not even comparable. I go, the 52 goes where I need it to go. I get a much more consistent swing out of it. Like this is kind of what I need. And so this is Friday morning. Um, so I'm like, I'm ready to make the switch. So I already had the clubs in my car. I drive to the superstore because I go, if I'm going to use the 52, I need a 58. So I drive to the superstore, or actually, I guess I went home, walked Leo, drove to the superstore, traded in some old wedges, left with a new wedge, went home, ate some food, maybe, get back online, find another tee time, go back out 9 holes. So I like this is in this Friday. I drove to Sharon, drove home, drove to PJ Superstore, drove home, drove back to Sharon, and I got the 58. I didn't get to play all the shots I wanted to. Like I like because I would there was just too many people, so I had to
Yeah.
join up with people. Um, so I got the 58, almost chip in on the second hole. Like again, concerned that like whatever, none of it matters. Um, so I've been playing with it. I played 18 Friday, or I guess I only played 9 holes with the 58 on Friday. But with the CBs, Played 18 Friday, 18 Saturday, 18 Sunday, 9 this morning. And I'm just like looking back on this idea and thinking how much of a fucking idiot I actually am. And the reason being, so when I went to my fitting, there were exactly 2 clubs when I did my iron fitting. There were exactly 2 clubs that I felt good about hitting. Titleist T300s and Strixon like ZX4s or something. But the Strixons, you can see from the top, like they are big in the back. Like they are fucking ugly. And that's me hitting, and like that's hitting a 7-iron.
Yeah.
So if they both feel pretty good and they both launch pretty good and they both pretty much do the same thing, I got a discount on Titleist and the Titleist look way better. So I'm going Titleist.
Right.
So I did kind of like, I was a little bummed like leaving because I'm like, like I'm a good iron player. Why the fuck can I not hit these other irons? Like, why is it that I can only hit T300s? I'm like, whatever. I go, because whatever, ultimately it's whatever works. But like, I'm like, why can't I hit something else? I don't know. I'm like, I don't get it. So I just order the T300s. I like, who gives a fuck? Like, again, and I had a similar model before, just older. It's like, they got me this far, so who gives a shit? And then what I figured out was from a club fitting video. I think it was a podcast I listened to. I listened to Chasing Scratch, and I think they did a video where they had a club fitting, and I was listening to the guy, and he told one of the guys, he goes, yeah, you can play like the thinner profile, the low weighted T100s, because obviously those things look great in the bag. Like they look fucking sick.
Right.
But I just couldn't hit them. And I couldn't hit 200s either. It was fucking comical. And he goes, oh, because of the way, he goes, because you deliver the club in a certain way, he goes, you want this thinner profile, this thinner sole. And I'm like, oh, that's why I couldn't hit anything, because I don't deliver the club that way.
Right.
I think if you have like a super into out path, then you can hit the thinner club. But I think you need something else. I think your low point matters as well. Or maybe it's swing direction. I don't really know. It doesn't matter. And I have the opposite move. That's why the wider sole, more forgiving perimeter weighted club, that's the way to go. So, when I got the new irons, some of the lofts were different. So I changed my lofts. So I got new wedges. And I fucked up ordering the first ones. So then I got new ones the second year. Again, this is just fucking madness. And this is why I'm telling it, just because it's like, it's fucking like a beautiful mind right now. And I'm like, I got the new ones this year, and I was like, I'm still not hitting, like, I'm just not hitting these the way I fucking expect to. I'm not getting what I need out of them. Well, I'm effectively playing the antithesis of what I fucking need.
Right.
Because all these wedges are kind of built the same. And I know they're not, but I'm not a club fitter, so I can't tell you all the different minutia of whatever. Right. And I actually understand this shit. Imagine someone just walking into a fucking store. Good fucking luck. So I'm like, okay, well, let me get these cavity backs because of the way I deliver the club, not the way that you deliver the club, not the way that, the 3 guys I played with yesterday deliver the club. Just me, the way I deliver the club. Let me just try these because they're also closer to my actual irons.
Right.
I've been playing this game, like, again, like competitively again, like after high school, like competitively again for 10 years. And this is the shit I'm still going through. Like, this is fucking insane. So if anyone's listening and being like, what in the fuck is he talking about? I'm a crazy person. and I'm significantly less crazy than a lot of people, but I'm still out of my fucking mind. Like, this shit is fucking nuts.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it.
All that story just to demonstrate that I am a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. Well, also just like the so many different variations of the game, right? Like in the last episode, we were talking about the ball. Like the type of ball you use makes a huge difference. And the way the club is designed, what kind of club, and the wedges and the eye, right? Like
Yeah, and then
every
it's like
little, like you said, perimeter weighted versus fucking the
bottom weighted.
bottom weighted or center
Because that's the thing
weighted,
is you can
whatever.
have
Like,
like the most forgiving, oh, TaylorMade, this is the most forgiving club, but all the weight's in the bottom.
right,
And it's like I couldn't hit anything with weight in the bottom.
right,
How the fuck is someone supposed to know that?
right.
So hence why you should never buy anything off the fucking rack. But
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm just like, this is fucking insane. And then I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm like the CBs, like they're good. I mean, like I don't have to worry about fucking anything with those. I just gotta adjust a little bit. And then I was listening to a podcast today where they were talking about bounces and grinds on wedges and whatever, and I'm like, oh my god. I go, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah.
much. This is fucking crazy. If you don't have tour level fitting, I don't know how the fuck you figure this shit out.
Yeah.
If you wanted to figure out
Pretty
your
wild.
grinds and bounces, you would have it like like just with just Vokey, you'd have to fly out to fucking Oceanside and get fit, and then they would figure it out for you.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit at Joan Lee's. Fucking craziness. Absolute lunatic.
That's wild.
This is the shit that fucking keeps me up at night.
Yeah. All right. We're at the beach. What are we doing? All right. I'm going to go over there.
Do I have enough fucking cavity in my fucking wedges?
I'm going to go stiff over there. What'd you find? Nothing.
Should I be choking up this much on a driver? Fucking lunacy.
That's pretty good.
But I guess in case anyone's wondering, yes, the CBs are fucking nasty. So Strixon, Cleveland, if you want to sponsor us, let me know. I'll take some wedges.
Yeah.
Although, hey, Strixons, I hit those Strixons. If you want to send me them, I'll switch.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Send me the Strixons with a check, and yeah, we can talk.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's free, it's for me. I'll talk up your product.
I would say I suck at putting anyway, so you can send me any Cleveland putter you want.
All right. My final thought is I guess it'll be relatively quick. So I adventured yesterday. I was at Market Basket when I was food shopping, and I was like, I kind of want to do something different. And I saw a couple videos on Instagram lately of like pinwheels, right? With whatever cut of beef. I think I saw one of them. Someone did it with a prime rib. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna pinwheel a prime rib. Yeah. But I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I'm at Market Basket and I see it. So I get a pot roast, which is, what is that, chuck? Is that chuck roast?
Chuck roast is usually, yeah, I guess yeah. I'm just gonna say yeah.
Yeah, or chuck
this is
fillet.
This is getting into the fucking minutia
pot roast.
Of fucking wedges,
whatever it is. There was a sticker on it that said pot roast. But so like there was like an orange Market Basket sticker on it that said pot roast, but like the actual white tag said something. I think it said chuck. So I'm just assuming that
the chuck roast is pretty
the same
good.
thing.
Like
that
the
a chuck roast is a pot roast. Or technically, I guess a pot roast would be the method.
I think pot roast is a broad. I think pot roast is a broad term, and then there's different cuts that could fit it, because I think there's a shoulder involved at some point.
Yeah. So
either anything that's got some fat in it, but also is fairly tough, so that you cook it low and slow.
Yeah.
But like an eye round or a top round or a bottom round, anything round, none of those, there's no fat in it.
Well, that's the ass. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you make roast beef out of. Like, there's no fat in those things. So they are just fucking tough, and that is it. That's where it begins and ends.
Yeah. So either way, I bought one, and I fillet or butterfly, I guess butterflied it technically, right? It's like you just keep cutting it around and like open it up basically. So like whether you want to call that filleting it or butterflying it or a combination of the two, whatever, but I cut it around, opened it up all the way, and then pounded it down a little bit so it was just a little bit thinner, and then I threw down some provolone, prosciutto, and I threw some bacon in there too, just because who doesn't love fucking bacon. So then I rolled it up, I tied it up with butcher twine, and I rubbed it with olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic, right? And just threw it in a bag and let it sit overnight. So then I put it on the smoker yesterday, and it came out fine, right? Like I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Like the flavor was good, but I need to go back and reassess methods and methodology. Um, I don't know if it was a combination of I didn't tie the butcher twine tight enough, so it was like a tight enough roll, but I probed it with the meter probe right through the like kind of at an angle so I could get all layers because it's rolled right. So I wanted to make sure I didn't just stick it like perpendicular straight into the middle. Like I wanted to get a relatively accurate temperature read through the different layers and into the middle. So I smoked it for, I forget, maybe close to like 4 hours ish until the internal temperature hit 120. And then I took it out of the smoker and I put it in the oven at 500 until the temperature hit 130. And then I pulled it at 130, let it sit, and then I cut it when the temperature got to 135, which is medium rare. So my point here is I need to reassess my methodology. So I think the smoker potentially isn't the best way to do that. Because
what was the underlying issue?
So
why was it a 7 out of 10, not
so when you cut, like when I sliced it, right, and you get the pinwheel,
yeah,
the inner part of the pinwheel was a nice medium rare, but the edges were well done.
Okay, what temperature did you put it in the oven at?
120.
No. Oven temperature.
Oh, 500.
500.
I just wanted to like crust the outside, right? Because it was in a 220-degree smoker, so it's not like, you know what I mean. I wanted to make a crust on the outside.
I wonder.
But then, like I said, I wonder if it's because I didn't tie the butcher twine tight enough.
No, because
if there was air could get in.
That's just supposed to like make it even throughout the butcher twine.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it holds it together, but
like
sometimes you just see people just take like a normal roast and butcher twine it. That's just so it like cooks evenly.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I wonder if you had taken out of the smoker, let it sit for like, say you pulled it from the smoker at 125, let it sit for like, cover it and let it sit for like half hour, and it probably gets to 135, which is what you wanted. Like that was good.
Mm-hmm.
If you let it sit for like the half hour, 40 minutes, and then you throw it back in the oven, it generally doesn't like kind of cook more on the inside, but I don't know because it's rolled and shit like that. I haven't really cooked much of like the roll type thing.
Yeah. I'm also kind of wondering too, if a crust is what's desired, right?
It might not be.
If I get it to 125, like you said, and if I slice it at 130 and then just quickly like get a pan hot with like butter and garlic in it, and then just quickly sear both sides. So you get that on, that's where
maybe
the crust comes from versus like trying to do the whole outside.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's one of those like I'm gonna try it again, and I'm gonna,
because I've done the prime rib,
but
I've done the prime rib that method,
because the smoke ring was thick as fuck, like it usually is on the Traeger. Like the smoke ring was there, the flavor was there. That's what I mean. Like the flavor of all of it was great, but it
How
was
long did you
like,
leave it? No, that doesn't work. I don't know, man.
yeah.
I wish I had something for you. Because I was gonna say, like, usually when that happens to a steak, it's because it was too cool. Like the actual temperature of the steak was too cold.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you smoked it first.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, like I don't know if doing the low and slow is a good idea, right? Do you just like put it in an oven at 450 until you get 125 and yank it at 125 and call it a day and let it come up to temp from there? Like I don't know if the low and slow plus the high heat finish is a effective way to do it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna try it again at some point. And I'm gonna do it different. I think the way I might do it next is what I just said, like cook it until it gets to like a 125, yank it, then slice it, and then just kind of like saute the sides once it's sliced. I think that's going to be the next way that I do it.
Could be the move.
Yeah. I don't know. I will certainly report back whenever I get around to doing it again. But yeah, one of those things where it's like, I wanted to try something different. And like I said, it tasted good. It was just that the outer ring was tough, right? It was well done. It was dry. It was unfortunate, right? Because that's also where the smoke flavor and the smoke ring is. So like you could get that smoke flavor, but like you're fucking chewing on it. You're like, all right, I got it. But the middle part was great. So the middle was absolutely fucking delicious. So it was just one of those, like, it was just weird how it came out. So keep tinkering.
Yep.
So that's gonna do it for us. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click subscribe up top. Give us the thumbs up down over there, and tell everybody you know about the show. Spread the word. Like I said at the top of the show, don't forget about the weekly NFL Pick'em. $6 a week, play however many weeks you want, or you can pay upfront $108 for the whole season. If you are listening to this show again on Thursday or Friday, before the NFL season, and you're interested, do it quick, right? If you want to get in for the whole year and do that $108 right up front, or you just want to play the first week and see how it goes, that's fine too. But reach out to us, let us know. We'll get you all the information, get you all set up, and then we'll be good to go for week one in would be at least 2 days from whenever you guys are listening to this. So you can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, or Twitter at Sarcasm_Speaks, the Facebook page Sarcasm Speaks. Again, reach out to us if you want, if you want to get in on the pick'em on any of those modalities, right? We'll get back to you with the info that you need. Thank you to mybookie.com. Speaking of gambling, use the promo code SarcasmPod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000 with them over there. Thank you to noonbrew.com. Not drinking it now because, again, it's the middle of the day here. But Noon Brew makes a fantastic magnesium, sleep tea, get you ready, great night's sleep. Use the promo code in the show notes below, and you will get 10% off your order every single time you check out over there. And lastly, we have the Ice Pod. So go to theicepod.com. Use that promo code in the show notes, and you will get $10 off and free shipping when you buy an ice bath over there. So I think that's it. Until next time, good night, everybody.